Raywin from Cakes by Raywin, and today we're going to just go through a really easy Gumpaste Rose, a large Gumpaste Rose. This is sort of for a statement flower for a cake, just where you would have just one really big flower. I'm doing it at this time of year because at the moment you can get these fabulous little foam Easter eggs. And we're actually going to use that as our centre so that it's nice and light and you don't have to worry about it, dragging down the cake or anything. So we've got our gum paste, whichever colour you want, a rolling pin, a little foam Easter eggs, some glue and a brush, dusting bag, some wire, a cutter. You don't have to have lots of different sizes, we're just going to play with that. Ball and tool mat and some petal formers just while they dry a little bit. Okay, so we've got our wire, it's quite a firm gauge, and we've got our little foam Easter eggs. We're going to put the wire through the centre of the foam ball until the wire's about halfway. Bend it down, cross it over, and then twist. And this is basically going to give you a really good firm base for your rose, and you don't have to wait for any glue to dry or anything into your centre. Okay, so that's the start. Okay, so we've rolled out our gum paste really thin. You want nice thin petals. I'm just going to go over a little bit with our dusting bag just so that it doesn't stick. Look at our cutter. These cutters are fabulous. They're plunger cutters, really good if you're on a budget. There we go. Alright, so to start off with, we're just going to cover our centre. So to do that, I'm going to put our edible glue on one half and just apply it up there like that. Get our second petal. And we're going to put glue all over this one, just on a V at the point of the petal. And this one's going to be offset. It's going to go over that side and it's going to go under your first side, and then we're just going to squash it in, and that's basically the centre of our flower to form our little bud. Okay, so with the edges of our petals we're just going to come around and we're going to just flute them with our ball tool. If you're finding your gum paste a little sticky, just pop a little bit of corn flour on and just set it aside to dry a little bit. Okay, so now that we've thinned our edges out and given that lovely ruffle, we're going to come along and we're going to attach our petals. So attaching that side, coming along, overlapping. One sticks all the way down. You get enough glue on it. Don't put too much glue because then you'll end up with a big soggy mess. Less is more. Overlapping that one. Then pop that one in. And then that goes under our first petal that we didn't glue down. Just press that down, pull those up, pinch the edges a little. Okay, so now at this point, depending on what sort of flower you would like the finished result to be, you can actually hang it upside down. Just bend the wire over to make a hook while those dry a little bit, and then you can go on and do your other petals and sit them in the formers, which is I think what I'm going to do because I think I'd like one a little bit closed up in the centre. Okay, so we'll be back. Okay, so for our next row of petals, same process, except this time we're going to make a ball in the centre. So we sort of curve them like that. Now I've got here, you can see I've got petal formers. which are great. But if you don't have them, you can improvise by using what you've got at home. Our dessert spoons, they work pretty well. Just let them sit in there, cupped in there nicely, and just let the edges hang over the sides a little bit. Soup spoons would be even better. Okay, so then you just leave those to sit. Okay, so just as I'm making this last set of petals, I just wanted to show you, for those of you that don't have balling tools and things like that, that are just at home with the kitchen of normal supplies, you can improvise with using a rolling pin to do everything we've just done to make this rose. Just in the centre there. So there you go, see, you don't need to have a lot of specialist equipment to make something really impressive. You can use what you've already got at home. Okay, so now we're going to apply our first row of petals that have been drying in our little spoons here. Depending on the humidity in your area, you may need to leave them a little bit longer, or you might find they dry really quickly. So remember, with the first one, we only glue one side. Okay, two sides of the next one. If you find they're not quite showing enough, you can wriggle them up the flower a little bit more, make sure they're well attached. Generally, there's a fine line. You want to get them soft enough so that you can move them around, but firm enough so they're not dropping. These are dropping a little bit. So it'd be nice if they're a little bit firmer. But you don't want them so firm that when you put them on, they crack and break. Okay, so that last one in, and then glue on that one side of the petal that we hadn't done to overlap, and then just like to turn it upside down so I can press everything in first to make it stick. This is another reason it's good to have that ball wired the way we did, because we don't have to worry about it falling off. And then holding it, turn it over, and then we're going to just play with the petals a little bit. And then we'll come back and do our last row. Okay, so we're here to do our last row of petals. So starting offset, as we have with all of the others, overlapping. Just going around. As I said, for the last row, if you find that they're not sitting up far enough, just shuffle them up a little bit. Okay, and of course our last petal needs to just be glued on both sides now, so it overlaps. Upside down, squeeze them all in place. Now, depending on what you're going to use this for, if you're going to see any of that, you would just make a stamen to cover all that. But because we're going to be putting ours on a cake, we actually want to open ours up and have a lovely big rose. And you can dust it or airbrush it, whatever you want to do. And to dry that nice and open, what I do, I just pop it in this little flower former like that, and that just sort of stops them from dropping down too far as it dries. You might even want to hang it for a little bit first until they get a little bit more solid, and then flip it up over so that they open up nice and wide. It's a nice open rose. Okay, nice and easy, and it's very nice and light too. Enjoy.